أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everybody to Nazirah Level 1 Monday's class. Jazakumullah for being very punctual. Let's go straight away to our opening dua and let's call 2204. Assalamu alaikum. 2204.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, wa alaikum assalam, darling. How are you?
Very cool.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So, sweetheart, you know we always start with dua. Will you be able to lead everybody in dua for us today?
Okay.
Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejected. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful.
Mashallah, mashallah. Very, very nice. Sweetheart, just one more time, repeat with me, okay? And we're just going to pay a little bit more attention to just here, okay? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Mashallah, very, very nice. The timing on this vertical fatha that you did there was the same as the one here, which is how it should be. And it was for 2 counts, which is spot on. Okay, lovely, mashallah. Let's move on. So today is Monday. So this is our prayer. Would you be able to recite this as well?
Okay. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Lord, expand my mind and make my task easy for me.
Mashallah, mashallah. So sweetheart, just this little bit here, okay? Here. Let me repeat it with you, okay? Wa yassir li amri.
وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي.
Okay, so let's just work on this meme, yeah? You know, just think about your lips, yeah? And think about the dry parts, the ones that are outside, not the inside bit, yeah? Put them together and make that meme sound. Meme.
وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي.
Mashallah, very, very nice. So what you need to do is when you do the yeah? You put your lips together, but you stop all the air. So you go, repeat it. Well done. Amri. Mashallah, very, very nice. Perfect. What you were doing before was you were still making the sound, but you were opening your lips. And so you're making the bouncing sound. So you were saying it like this, Amri. So just be careful, yeah? Close your lips and then stop all the air. Amri. And then you get it just right. Okay, Jazakumullah for coming to the mic. A lovely start to the class. Allah Hafiz for now, darling.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, darling. Okay, so let's move on to our schedule. Okay, so today class 41. And today we are going to start exciting stuff, our new unit, the Hifz-ul-Quran unit. And we're going to introduce you to Surah Al-Kauthar and how to recite it correctly and introduce you to the slides that we're going to be using. And our class will take a little bit longer just because there's a few things extra that I want to be talking about. So inshallah, try and speed it up, but maybe by 20 past you'll be in your breakout rooms. Once you're in your breakout rooms, you'll be practicing Surah Al-Anam, verses 26 to 31 with your breakout room teachers, okay? So we're just going to do the Surah Al-Kauthar in this main session, okay? In your breakout room, you'll be doing the normal practice text. Okay, and obviously you'll come back at the end of the class, inshallah, for the homework. Okay, so let's go to our presentation. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, so let me just bring that onto screen and make it a little bit bigger. Okay, Okay, so if I could just check with my co-host, my screen is being shared properly, yes?
Yes, it is.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, Hifz al-Quran unit. We're going to start the Hifz al-Quran unit today. So let's have a look at some of the things that we need to make you aware of. The Nazirah Level 1 Hifz al-Quran unit has 3 chapters that you are required to memorize. Okay, and those chapters are Surah Al-Kauthar, Surah Al-Asr, and Surah Al-Ikhlas. In the exam that you'll sit at the end of the course, okay, so in February, in the exam, you will be expected to recite these 3 chapters from memory. But not just from memory, you'll be expected to recite them properly, applying all of the rules. Okay, so I know many of you will actually know these off by heart already, but when you go to the exam, it's not just your memorization, but it's also correct recitation that you'll be examined on. And that's why we're going to go into a little bit more detail with these chapters. So in a moment, I will show you the slides that we prepared for you, and you can use those to help you learn how to recite properly. Now, a couple of things I want to mention is that it's actually not difficult to memorize these chapters. It's not difficult at all, okay? But just as it's not difficult to memorize, it's also not difficult to forget them, okay? You can memorize them fairly easily. You can also forget them very easily. And the way to keep them in your memory is to keep practicing. So once you've memorized, keep these chapters in your memory. And one of the best ways you can do this is by regularly reciting it in your salat. So whenever you're going to prayers, choose these chapters to recite. And then your mind will be forced to think about them and then to recite them. And sure, tried and tested method of keeping them in your memory, okay? Okay, so today's chapter that we're going to look at is Surah Al-Kauthar. And there's some facts for you there about Surah Al-Kauthar. Okay, so in the purple, it says Order of Revelation, number 15. What that means is that when the Holy Quran was being revealed to the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, different verses, different chapters were revealed to the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, in a certain order. And this chapter was the 15th chapter to be revealed to him. But in terms of chapter number, in the orange, in the Holy Quran, it's actually chapter number 108. So as you read the Holy Quran, this is the 108th chapter that you'll come across. But in fact, it was one of the first ones that were revealed, okay? In it, there is 1 ruku, and there are 4 verses. And it sits inside part 30. Okay, and there's some facts about the Holy Quran generally on the other side that you can look at later on. This particular presentation is now going to be shared by my colleague in the chat, and you're free to download it. Your teachers also have a copy so they can share it as well, and it's also available on the drive. Okay, so memorization. Before we go on to this specific chapter, let me just talk to you about memorization. Some tips to help you memorize. One of the tried and tested ways of memorizing is to read a verse, either the whole verse, or if it's a particularly long verse, a small portion of it, and read it 20 times whilst looking. Okay, so have the Holy Quran open, look at how the chapter is on the page, look at what's going on in the margins, look at what's going on before and afterwards, just get a picture of it in your mind, and then read that first verse and read it 20 times whilst looking. Once you've done that, close the Holy Quran and repeat that particular verse, just that particular verse, without looking. But try and picture it in your mind so that it's like you've got a mental finger that's going along as you're reciting, okay? And then when you think you've got it, ask someone to listen to you. So ask them to listen as you recite that verse. If you haven't got somebody with you, not to worry. Most of us have mobile phones nearby. Use the phone to record yourself, okay? And then you can listen back and then read from the Holy Quran to see if you've got that right. If you find that, yes, you've got that verse memorized, then move on to the next verse and use the same method again to memorize. Read the verse 20 times whilst looking, then close the Holy Quran and try and repeat without looking, try and picture it in your mind, and then ask someone to listen. Once you have got the second verse in your memory, then try and read both verses together. Well, not try, read both verses together whilst looking. So whilst having the Holy Quran open and read, okay? Once you've done that, then try and recite both of those verses together from memory. Okay, so the same method. And then once you've memorized, then move on to the next verse, and so on. Once you've memorized, read everything you've memorized at least 3 times whilst looking before you go to bed. One of the last things you do before you go to bed, okay? So read through what you've memorized whilst looking. When you wake up in the morning, read again and see if it comes back to you, okay? And then once you've got it in your memory, then keep reading it every day in your salat to keep it in your memory. Okay, so now these are some tips. Everybody will have their own method of memorizing, but these are some tried and tested methods of memorizing. Now, at the bottom here is a link. So in the slides that you've got, when you click on this link, what you'll go to, I'll show you, is, here we are. Okay. What you'll go to is here, okay? When you click on that link, you'll go to here. And here you can see that there is this chapter, Al-Kauthar, that you're being asked to memorize. Now, if you can see what it says here, settings, if you go to here, you just scroll down, you can see here Tilawat recitation, and there is a selection of reciters that you can choose from. I recommend you choose Qari Ashik, okay? And then if you close that, if I play it for you just a little bit, okay? And I hope, inshallah, you'll hear the sound. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna a'tainaka al-Kauthar. Okay. Inna. So I'll just pause it there, okay? So that link will take you to here, and you can actually listen to it being recited correctly. And what I recommend you do is you listen a few times over to this whilst having the slides open, okay? So what you'll find in the slides is that there are rules that we've highlighted for you, the rules that you should be aware of, okay? So listen to Qari Ashik reciting and then notice how he's applying these rules. So how he applies Nun Gunna, okay? And how he applies the timing for Yaleen, and how he makes sure that the vertical fatha is for 2 counts. So listen and then use these slides to follow along and understand how the rules he's applying them, okay? And that will be a really, really, really good way of you learning how to recite these chapters properly. And also by listening quite a few times over, you might find that you memorize it without trying too hard because you listen to it so many times, okay? Now, it is now 1:15. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause there. In your breakout rooms, you won't be covering this, you'll be doing your practice text as normal, but do look at these slides after class and do practice. And on Wednesday, in your breakout rooms, you have a session with your teachers where you can actually recite these, whether it's from memory or from screen, it doesn't matter, okay? But you can recite and your teachers can pick up on any places where you haven't applied the rules. Okay, so I'm just going to show you that there's quite a few slides where the rules have been pointed out to you, and also how you pause at the end, and then you're asked to recite the whole verse by yourself and then carry on. Okay, now if there's any questions, please ask your teachers, and they'll be able to explain to you. And if the teachers are not able to answer you straight away, they can come to me and then I can answer for them. Okay, Jazakumullah for your time. If I can ask the central admin team to open up the breakout rooms, and inshallah you'll meet the main teacher at the other end of the class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.